I hope that you are seated comfortably, with the light turned down and the curtains drawn.
Somebody there?
Hello, welcome to Ecto Portal. This is Tony Anderson here with my co-host.
I'm Verna Wilson, and nice to be here and glad to be back.
Yep, we're back again. You didn't lose us that quickly, did you? We have an interesting topic this week. We're doing ghosts caught on film. So that includes photographs, video, film stock footage or video footage, anything within the visual range, I think, where you capture what you think is paranormal or an apparition of some kind or something like that.
If you happen to have caught it and you have an image of it and you're able to show it, please feel free to go ahead and post it on our site or give us a call and let us know what you saw. And we'd love to hear it. We'd love to hear about it.
And that page, you could either post it preferably on our Facebook page, Ecto Portal, 2 words, or if you want to leave a comment on our blog as well, it's ectoportal.blogspot.com. And we always post an article each week pertaining to the show's topic. And like this week, I just did put an article up a couple days ago pertaining to ghosts caught on film. So if you want to check that out as well, that'd be great. And, of course, you can download last week's show here at fccfreeradio.com, which I hope you're all listening to live. I think we're live this week. Had a little bit of problem last week just because of the servers in L.A. or something weren't allowing us to go live, but we were recorded, so hopefully you can still download that podcast. Check that out. Last week's topic was good, mediums and sensitives.
Mediums and sensitives, yeah, that was really good. It's actually really worth listening to that first show because there was a lot of good information. We had a lot of interesting calls, and we're hopefully everybody this time is able to listen to us live and able to call us. And we also have a Twitter page. Forgot to mention that. We have a Twitter page, twitter.com/ectoportal. So if you'd like to tweet something or put in a photo, please, by all means, join our Twitter page and put it in.
If it's a picture of you with a ghost, that's fine. I'm going to also working on our Snapchat account, so we can take a little Snapchats right here in the studio during our show and even send them to you. Or if you want to send them to us, that's fine too. So I'm going to work on that. We don't have it quite yet, but we will.
And feel free also to message us from Facebook, because I have my Facebook Messenger on, and if you have a question or a comment, you can just message us directly, and I can see it while we're on the air, and we will address your comment or your question.
Absolutely. And our phone number for our call-ins. We're not going to do call-ins quite yet, so when we hit the 9 o'clock hour, I think that's when we'll start doing calls, so that way we can kind of cover our topic a little bit and go into it. But our phone number for our call-in after 9 o'clock will be 628-444-3202. Again, that's 628-444-3202. So if you if you have a story about a picture you took and you think you got a ghost in it, if you want to even better, post the picture to our Facebook page so that we can actually check it out and talk about it as well live on the air. I know you're probably thinking, why would you do a show about something so visual about ghosts captured in a photograph when it's an audio show? Well, because there's a lot to talk about, and we can actually have social media so we can actually see some of these images. I've actually posted a couple of my own, one from Alcatraz and one from the Washoe Club in Virginia City, that I captured by accident. Neither one of them, I don't really take photographs to capture ghosts. I do audio EVP presentations, so I like to capture photographs of where I was investigating, so I have something visual for the listener to look at while they're listening to the EVP evidence. So I do a little history, I do little montages, music, so people can kind of get a little feel for the location, a little history sometimes. And sometimes when I take these photographs,
Just happens.
it just happens. So,
Yeah.
you know, I think people actually get more sometimes when they're not looking to take photographs of.
That's when it usually happens the most, I think.
And that's when people usually see ghosts too, is not when they're trying to see a ghost, it's usually when they're not even thinking about it.
And speaking of, what did you see tonight, Tony?
It's funny you should mention that, Verna.
Yeah, right.
Just before we stepped into the studio, waiting for the previous show to end, we were just sitting there talking, and all of a sudden on the corner of my eye across the basement here at the Oddfellows building, I see a figure of a person just walking across the floor, and then they vanished.
And there was some footsteps that we heard too. Yeah, as if somebody was walking, and you said, and then you turn around, and then you said, Verna, somebody just walked right past, and
Yeah.
then I heard the footsteps. I didn't see them. Tony did, but this is a haunted building, so nothing surprises me here.
No, there's stories, tons of stories in this building alone. But it's funny is this one I saw was different in that I saw it wore some white and some dark, so it almost looked like street clothes, almost like a windbreaker, like a dark windbreaker, but with a white T-shirt underneath.
So he looked modern. He didn't look.
No, he looked modern.
He looked modern. Yeah.
So who knows? That could be someone on Market Street wandering around and just kind of went down here to check things out. Maybe he likes the studio.
Yeah,
We
you
like
never
it.
know. Yeah, that's. I mean, it could be anybody who's connected with this building, and could be from any era. Doesn't. It's an old building, but who knows who passes through here?
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, the foundation, this building actually held up during the 1906 earthquake. The only problem was the fire department had to level it to put out the fires. So the only thing that's really legitly still the original Gothic, beautiful-looking building that the Oddfellows building was. If you ever get a chance to find a picture of the original Oddfellows building on Market Street, it's amazing. It looks like a Gothic castle.
It is beautiful. I've seen a picture of it. I love the architecture.
And the only thing remains is that the brick foundation is the original bricks from the building. So those are still original bricks from pre-earthquake. So we do have a partial building.
Yeah, partial.
Pieces.
Although the rest of the building, from upstairs and some of the rooms are very beautiful, and they're old, but they're not as old as downstairs here, where all the bricks are.
Exactly. But they
Yeah.
hear. I mean, they've heard footsteps. They've heard voices. People rustling up in the attic of the building.
Yep.
I mean, footsteps. There's all kinds of things people hear down here. And the stations had instances with a spirit after hours, and there's nobody here.
Oh yeah, John Miller, I believe the station manager had he thought he saw a ghost on one of the cameras, and he says he was actually rather a skeptic, but I should let him tell his story if he were here. But
You can go ahead and tell them if you want.
well, from what I recall, this was during the first meeting for the radio station when Anthony and I first started the show. And first thing he does is come out and tells everybody, you know, I don't really believe in all of this, but I do believe that this building is haunted. And he mentioned that he was at home, and there was, he has the cameras where he can see the studio from his home. And he said that he was just kind of watching and doing stuff at home, and then all of a sudden he saw somebody in the studio. And he thought, who's that? So he looked closer, and he thought he saw a man walking around the studio. So he actually decided to call the police, and he decided to come over himself. Is that correct?
Well,
Do I have the story correct?
Well, I know I think there's something that triggers infrared. It's an infrared camera, but it triggers. So he said must have detected movement in this studio, one of the studios, and then he said it stopped, and then it started in the studio next door. So whatever the activity was, it moved over to the second studio, and that's when he got a little concerned, like, okay, wow, somebody's
here,
yeah,
somebody's in there, yeah.
Exactly. So then he called the police and said he had all squad cars and tons of police come storming in, and everything's locked up. There's no one
locked
here.
up. There's no one there. They didn't see anybody, and he felt rather foolish, but he had to do what he had to do, and
yeah.
Well,
he's still a skeptic.
Yeah, he's still a skeptic, but he said that that one incident was what it pretty much triggered his interest. And John, I hope I'm not quoting you, and I hope I didn't tell your story wrong, but he had to tell that one. He did tell that one story. And me and Anthony looked at each other. We thought,
yep.
Yeah,
yep.
Mm-hmm.
Not a surprise.
Not a surprise. Yeah. So we thought it was very cool that our first meeting we got a ghost story. So
and then seeing that figure today just sitting there.
Yeah.
And I wasn't looking. We're not looking for this because we're talking about the show, what we're going to do tonight, and then just bam. Then Verna looks at me. I'm like, I just saw someone walk across the floor.
Right.
Pretty wild.
Yeah, and that's when these things usually happen, is when you're not looking or when you're not thinking about it. It happens the most, in fact. In my apartment where I live in a building that goes back to the 1920s, even before, because it's very old. And there's actually, I think there might be actually, my hallway is where ghosts pass the most. I'm always feeling wind, I'm always hearing footsteps, people move things, and there's been times when I actually saw apparitions in my own house, including one recently. When I was waking up, I felt a finger the back of my neck, and I look up.
Oh, wow.
I felt a finger like poking the back of my neck.
Was it in the middle of the night or like?
It was like 6 in the morning. I felt a finger in the back of my neck, and I thought, what is that? And I just woke up, and then all of a sudden I saw a figure, what looked like a young boy. He was all in white, and he just ran.
Wow.
And
was he afraid, or did he just turn and left? Or?
Well, I shouldn't say he ran. I just say he walked off really fast.
Okay.
And I thought, wow, that looks like a young boy. And that's what he resembled to me.
Right.
And he was all in white, and he kind of looked, I would say his dress was either Victorian or early 19th century. I just saw him for a few seconds, but that's what I captured. And he had short hair, and he just ran off. And I thought, who was that? Because in all the years I've lived there, I've never seen him.
Right.
I've seen a few others.
Wonder if he lived there before you.
He might have lived there before me. I've had some equipment. I know you're not supposed to put equipment when you're in your own house. I do it.
I do it too.
Okay.
I don't believe in superstition. That to me, that's a superstition. That's someone saying you need to do this or this might happen to you. To me, that's you don't know.
Right. Right. And I feel the same way. I was told don't do it in your own house, but I thought I'm going to be a brat and do it. So a few times.
Rebel.
I know. Exactly. I'm not listening to them. I'm going to do it anyway. So I went ahead and I put it on, and there's a ghost that comes in every once in a while, and his name is Herbert. I always get that name, Herbert.
Really?
Yeah. His name is Herbert. He's came in a few times, not each time, but
Have
a few times.
Have you done EVP too? This is using your PX device?
Using the PX.
Which says words and takes readings from the air, right? The atmosphere?
It's the PX. He's appeared twice. He's appeared on the PX, and he appeared on an app, actually. It mentioned his name.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Both?
Both.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so that is good confirmation. And I've been wanting to get a recording of him, so I try to do things once the old-fashioned way, where I put on my phone and let it run, and then I had to use my phone, so I had to turn it off. I thought, well, I got to do this all night when I have the time. But he's came in a few times, and he's tried to tell his history, and he said he was connected with the building. He used to live there. These are just things, little words and things I've gotten from him. And he's also came in and he's made remarks about what I'm doing, and
Well, it sounds like he likes to just watch over you or watch you. He's not like a vengeful
Not at all.
spirit. He just
No.
likes to watch you.
He seems very friendly,
maybe
actually.
you entertain him. Maybe you and you
Well,
and your sister entertain him.
I think we do.
That's not so bad.
No, it's not so bad. Actually, he makes. I mean, it cracks me up because he makes remarks about what I'm doing. Like when I'm getting ready in the morning. Once he was mentioning that I wear slabs and slabs of paint on my face.
Oh, rude.
How rude! I know. I turned around and I said, "Can I just please get ready?" I said, "I am not using that much." And then he goes, and then he kept saying slabs and slabs. I'm like, "Oh, please."
You're like, I'm going to turn this PX right off if you don't stop.
Right.
Turn this car over and...
Exactly. And I told him, I said, I know women back in your time, when they used makeup, they were thought about as loose women, only
Harlots,
strumpets, right. But now we all use it and we enjoy it. So
I don't use it, but okay.
Well, I mean, well.
Some people do use it, men and
well,
women.
Anthony,
so.
you can borrow my mascara anytime. But
okay.
yeah, but anyway.
Depends on the color.
Well, in the parade, you used it.
In
your picture. Look at in our profile picture. Look at our profile picture.
Oh, that's right.
That's Anthony wearing makeup, right?
Yeah, that was me in crazy makeup before it all melted off too.
Before it all melted off.
Yeah.
Well, next time, Anthony, I'm going to show you how to use it properly so that you don't look so ghoulish.
Yeah, someone else at work said, that looks great, but wow, next time let me help you with that makeup.
I'll have to help you.
And I should really show you guys what I had to use was those cheap $3.99 makeup kits from Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
It's all I could find. It was leftover. I still had the kit pretty much.
Yep.
And I had very little time, and I had no brush, no pencils. I had to use my finger. So if I had a brush or pencils, trust me, I would use my theatrical makeup training and had done a much better job.
And he knows how to do really good theatrical makeup. You were trained in that, weren't you?
I was, and I had to juggle, and I had to do all kinds of crazy mime stuff, too.
So Anthony's really good also being able to tell whether normal makeup looks really good or whether it's really slathered like that guy said.
I knew it was bad, but I thought, it's bad. But I also bought this rubber head mask of a skull that was so big. I put it on. It looked great. After 3 minutes, I couldn't breathe, and I was sweating so bad. I thought, you're not going to last 6 hours in this. So I said, you got to do makeup.
I was wondering if he was going to get hot in that costume, like a little too hot because of all the walking and stuff.
Yeah, it was like a big black robe, like a monk's robe, and it was pretty good. I didn't get hot at all. I didn't mind it.
And actually, him doing the kind of hurried job kind of made him look a little more authentic because he's supposed to look really deathly pale and sick. I mean, you were supposed to be the Grim Reaper, right?
Well, it was kind of the Oddfellows mashup with Pride because I had the skull mask or the skull makeup because we used skulls in the Oddfellows.
Right, we used skulls, yeah.
I had the black robe because we use robes in our traditional ceremonies with the Oddfellows.
Right.
And then I said, okay, then I made a staff with a giant eyeball. We used the third eye in the Oddfellows.
I love that staff. That was so cool. I took a picture of that. We call it our newest member. It was pretty
Exactly.
funny.
And then I threw the color rainbow feather boa as the final tip off for Pride to add the Pride aspect to it. So it was a little mashup. It looked better in the planning stages, but everything does. But it looked okay. It was. I wanted to do something different.
I should post that on our site so everybody can see what we're talking about.
Oh, the full costume?
The full costume.
Yeah.
I took one of you with the staff. I should find the picture and post it on our site, and everybody can.
Yeah, we
see
took
that.
a lot
It was
of
pretty
crazy
cool.
pictures that day.
We did. They were a lot of fun. It was loads of fun marching in that parade.
It was.
Yeah. So anyway, but back to my apartment and back to we haven't been able to. Well, I think we've actually have caught some ghosts on film because I've had parties, I've had friends in my apartment, I've had people take pictures, and then all of a sudden we see something in the picture that wasn't meant to be there or wasn't visible to the eye when we took the picture. And it just looks unusual. And then we'll take the same picture in the same spot and it's not there. Now, of course, photography can do tricks. There's always the light. There's shadows. There's all kinds of things that can appear in photography.
When you took this first original picture, it was just to take a photograph. It wasn't to capture a ghost, correct?
Oh, yeah.
It was just friends hanging out, taking pictures.
Hanging out, taking pictures.
You were just trying to recreate it?
Right. I mean, we weren't, we were just, this was when I first moved in and when I first moved in, we had a little birthday party for me, and because it was summer when I moved in, so we took a bunch of pictures, and when we were looking all at them, and all of a sudden we go, well, that looks weird. What is that? And you see like this beam of light, and you see all this what appears to be like it just looks like a long beam or white beam or shadow next to me, or next to my friends, and next to Linda too.
Wow.
And and then there's like 2 or 3 photos of in the same spot. It's not there, but just that one. And it wasn't, I remember that there wasn't I know that light comes through the windows. If you ever come to my house, you can see we have windows puts in a lot of light, but it didn't make any sense. So I wish I had those pictures. I was trying to find them, actually.
You could have posted them on our Facebook page.
I know.
And
I'm
if you
talking
guys
about them and not posting them, silly
check
me.
out the Facebook page. We've actually been posting different ghost pictures and photographs and video clips throughout the week on our Facebook page, just to kind of get ready for tonight, just so people can kind of take a look at them. There's a famous one of the Amityville Horror House that Ed and Lorraine Warren, when they did a walkthrough, this was like, I guess, a month or 2 after the Lutzes moved out, and they were just walking through to get a feel of the place with a reporter and a photographer. And they actually snapped a photograph upstairs, and it looks like a little boy peeking around the corner of a door, a dark doorway. And some people say, "Oh no, that must have been one of the reporter crew." I'm like, "Is the reporter crew like 6?" Because he looks like he's 6 or 7 in the picture. And the really thing I thought was really cool, there's a new movie out called The Conjuring 2, which is about Ed and Lorraine Warren, both Conjuring 1 and 2. Each movie follows one of their cases. And this new one starts, the whole movie starts with the Amityville Horror case. And they're actually doing a seance in the house, and they actually are going through taking photographs, and they recreate that little ghost boy peeking around the door. So they actually recreated that photograph, which I thought was really cool. And you wouldn't even know that that's what that was unless you really know the case or know, the paranormal. You have an interest in these kind of photographs. So I was very impressed. If you go on the web and look up Ghost Boy Amityville Horror house photo, you'll see this photograph. And they actually claim it's the spirit of one of the little boys from the DeFeo family that was killed before the Lutzes actually moved into the house. And it looks a lot like him. There's a little picture at the bottom. We actually have it on our Facebook page. I have it at the bottom of this show's graphic, and you can kind of see the resemblance there, which I thought was really cool. So that's one of them. There's many on there. I posted a Gettysburg video, which is my favorite Gettysburg ghost video of all time, showing white figures in a marching in unison, which would be up in the trees at Devil's Den. Now, when I was there, I was taking photographs of that same area. Didn't see anything night and day. But it's very, very fascinating video to watch because it doesn't look faked. It's just a family shooting video in general, and they just caught these images in the trees, and it just intrigues me. So by all means, look at our Facebook page, scroll down, check it out, and check out that Gettysburg video because it really is impressive.
That would actually be another really great subject to talk about, going to battlefields and war zones. And capturing and seeing if there's any EVPs or any EVPs or capturing images, because I imagine that there's a lot of activity in those former Civil War sites, former sites where the Revolution was fought, battlefields where people died suddenly.
Yeah, that was 350,000 men died in one day in Gettysburg.
Yeah,
and I got ticks when I was there walking through the battlefields. I got ticks on my jeans, so that wasn't pleasant either.
So good.
Yeah, I got them all off quickly, but it was kind of a shock. So hopefully you guys have taken a look at some of those photographs on our Facebook page to tell us what you think of them.
I just posted one that was taken at Hampton Palace in London, and it's supposed to be the ghost of Catherine Howard, Henry VIII's seventh wife. Anyway, there was some historical figures that I wanted to go ahead and post because, as you know, England is full of history. There's ghosts everywhere, and in all these old cities. So I found, I think I've seen it before, and many people have probably seen it, but it was Hampton Palace. Catherine Howard is supposed to be running around the palace because this was right before she got caught. She got caught. Apparently, she had an affair with somebody, and they found out about it. And Henry was in the chapel, and she ran down the chapel to tell him not to take her to the tower. And she was in tears. The poor girl was hysterical. I don't blame her.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder why. Right. And apparently she didn't get to him, but apparently the poor girl is still seen wandering around the palace. Some workers have seen her. People who come to visit have seen her. And I feel sorry for the poor girl. She's still wandering around. I feel sorry for her whole history, in fact. But that picture, I'd like to have your opinions, your comments on it. It's on the site. I went ahead and posted it, so
take a look.
Take a look. It's a very intriguing picture. It's supposed to be one of the most realistic ones caught on camera when nobody was in the palace at the time. Again,
when nobody's looking or
right.
trying. In fact, when I first went on Alcatraz as a tourist, we were in the night tour because it was spookier. Everyone said, go at night, it's spookier. Now that I'm a docent out there, nothing spooks me on Alcatraz except for the cold and when the pigeons try to attack you. Other than that, we were leaving. I had two friends with me, and we were coming down from the cell house because the last boat was going to come to the dock soon. And there wasn't very many people coming down. They were still in the cell house. My two friends were like literally a block ahead of me, almost at the dock, and I was going through the Sally Port, and that's where the old drawbridge used to be on the island during the Civil War when it was a fort. Anyway, in the Sally Port, they parked this old pickup truck, which actually was a prop from the movie Murder in the First with Kevin Bacon and Christian Slater. It's just a prop. People think, wow, it's an old truck from the old days. No, it's a movie prop. Everything you see in Alcatraz, the administration building, all the old equipment, it's all movie props because the government took everything. So the movie studios come in, use it, and leave it. And the Park Service loves it. Anyway, so I'm walking through the Sally Port. I snap a photograph of the pickup truck. And there's a side view mirror to the driver's side. And if you look in that side view picture on the Facebook page that I posted, it looks like men behind me coming down the hill in a line of like 3-4 people. You see their arms and their heads. They all look like they're wearing the same like overalls or uniform, but they're behind me. And I zoom in, you can actually see that. There's like a sea green background to the photograph where I zoom in on it, but it's on the Facebook page. And then to the right of that, in 2012 was my first overnight investigating the famous Washoe Club in Virginia City, and that's Gold Rush country, the Comstock. So it's very haunted. Everything's haunted there. Everybody there has a story, usually more than one, on a regular basis because they live it, they breathe it, they feel it. So we're in the Washoe Club overnight doing an investigation, and halfway through the night, about probably 1 something a.m., 1:20, 1:25, we all go back into the museum to take a break before we go back up for round 2. And everyone was ahead of me going out, the back door to go into the museum, and I just turned around and snapped a picture looking up the stairs to the upper floor of the Washoe Club, which is empty. The bar is downstairs and used on a regular basis, and upstairs is pretty much empty. They have a lot of antiques there now, old antiques of the period, and it kind of adds to it. The new owner put them up there. It's kind of cool. He's not really into the paranormal in any way, but he understands that the place has a reputation. It's popular. They have tours running every day, all day, so make sure you stop by and do that tour. Ask for Betty, the best tour guide in the world. And there's a figure at the top of the stairs. It's a white figure. And I'd never noticed it when I took it. I took pictures for my videos, went home. This is months later. I'm going through them like, what is that standing at the top of the stairs? So I kind of brightened the picture up, zoomed in a little, superimposed it. And sure enough, there's a white-clad figure holding something really bright about waist level, like a ball of white light in its hand. And it's taking one step onto the steps going downstairs.
I've seen the photo. It's very very intriguing. I mean, You can really see the figure, and you can see it holding.
Yeah, it's
that.
like a robe.
Yeah.
It's like a long robe.
It looks like a robe.
And I framed it. I gave it to the bar, and it's actually hanging on the end of the bar on the wall at the Washoe Club. So it's not in the museum itself. I don't know why. I don't know if it's they like it because it generates conversation about it, and people want to go check out the museum. They have like a short cover fee for the museum, or if you buy a drink, I think you can get in free. But it's an interesting place. I mean, it's where Ghost Adventures did their first, one of their first investigations. They made it famous and popular, but it generally does have activity on a regular basis. And in fact, I'm going there this Sunday night with Jackie Kleeb, who called in last week. We're going to go check it out with, I think, her niece and a friend of hers, and a couple from Empathic Paranormal, Richard and Sim.
Yeah, and if anybody goes there and visits, and goes to that bar, Anthony's picture's up there.
Yep.
Take a look.
Check it out. So those are my two. I have one more in Virginia City, but I didn't post. I couldn't find it offhand, but those are my two best ones, I think. And then there's quite a few. I mean, my favorite are when people take family photos. Mm-hmm. They're old family photos from like the 60s and 70s. They're old, early color photos. Mm-hmm. And you see these weird images in them, and they're using real film. They're not even using digital cameras. So, and you see like figures, a face in the window in the background, or something, strange. Really strange orbs back then. Mm-hmm. A lot different than I would say digital cameras produce.
One of my favorite things to do is go into antique stores, and I love to go to the photo session where they have. Sometimes there's some antique stores have boxes and boxes of old photos,
right?
And they have them all divided into subjects, and I love to look through them. And oftentimes, I'll see old photos, and I'll see something in the background that doesn't look like it's quite part of the photo, and I'm thinking that looks like it might be something like an apparition or something, something that's out of the ordinary. But they're very interesting to look at. Mm-hmm. Going back to Victorian days, and then there's photos from the 20s and 30s, and then when you get to the photos of the 60s, 70s, that's they just appear all throughout the eras. In every family photo, there's always going to be something strange. And I even saw in one family photo a face where there's a whole family posing, and then it looked like an older woman was right behind them, and she was smiling, but she looked like she was kind of a shadow, or she kind of disappeared near the doorway or something like that.
Weird.
I was looking at that, and I almost bought the photo. It was taken back in, I would say maybe early 70s, but she didn't look like she was quite part of the picture. I mean, unless it was their older grandmother who was just peeking while the picture was being taken and photobombed it. But
right.
She didn't. Her dress looked a little bit different than the rest of the family. But then she looked like a grandmother. So who knows? But
now did you say Linda had some pictures too, or you both did? If you want to explain those, I'm going to grab my power cord real quick so we don't lose power. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about that. Yeah,
Linda will be able to explain that when she calls in. I hope Linda calls in. But she, when we first visited the columbarium, when I was first, when the local paranormal team did a investigation at the columbarium, Linda brought a camera with her. I forgot what kind of camera it was. She'll be able to explain that if she calls in. And she was taking all kinds of pictures there. And when the pictures came out, she had a friend of hers that she brought. I forgot the man's name. Linda, you know his name. But anyway, there's a picture of him, and there's a picture, and you can see it very visibly, of a hand on his face. And you can totally see the hand. I was showing it to some friends, and then some of them were skeptics, and of course, good to have a healthy amount of skepticism, but they go, oh my God, you can see that hand. And they could see the fingers, they can see actually the nails, the shape of the hand. And it was somebody who he just had the hand on his face. So it was obviously somebody who was very curious about him and decided to touch him. Maybe that person was wondering if he was real. But there was some interesting stuff going on that day when we were up there. You were you've been to the Columbarium with me. And
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorite spots here in San Francisco to go investigating on the fly.
Anthony caught some EVPs the time that he came with me.
Yep.
Yeah, we were sitting there in the ground floor, and it was very, very quiet, and then we heard footsteps upstairs, and there was nobody up there. This was they don't allow people upstairs anymore. When I first got there, when I first investigated there, they did, but by the time me and Anthony came back there, they didn't. But we heard footsteps, and Anthony caught a couple of EVPs. It was, I think one of the EVPs, when you were pointing out in one of the windows, they had a Snoopy dog in one of the windows.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then you go look for it, and there's Snoopy. And I go, yeah, that's cool, because, a lot of these windows have the owner, it has the individual owner's taste and what they liked in their lifetime. They decorated it. And then the EVP said, that's a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that's exactly what it said. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, and then the other EVP, somebody was talking about the weather. He was saying, what's the weather like outside? And he says, it's sunny, sir. And he said, well, why don't you come in, sir, or something like that. And me and Anthony know that it was not sunny that day. It was very cloudy and kind of overcast.
It was cloudy.
So we don't know why they were talking about sunny weather, but...
I can honestly say the most amazing EVPs I've ever gotten were in the Columbarium. Out of anywhere, I mean, I've been to Gettysburg, asylums, prisons around the United States. The Columbarium has produced some of the most amazing ones for me.
Yeah, there's amazing pictures. Linda captured some amazing pictures, including that one of the hand on her friend's face, and she could talk about the other pictures if she calls in, and I hope she does.
Linda will call in, and we'll talk about Jackie's too.
Jackie's, yeah. Did Jackie catch some at the Columbarium, or?
No. She posted a picture on Facebook, I think yesterday, of our Facebook page. She said she got a message from someone to go to her backyard and take a picture. This is right after we got back from Gettysburg. She snapped a picture in her backyard, and she has the upper torso of a Confederate soldier standing in her backyard against the fence. And you can see her picture she has the picture, there's a white streak of light, and it's kind of in that light at the top. You'll see the little piece of fence, and it's right in front of that. Now, it's hard to see, so I actually zoomed in and outlined it down below. So if you see that post and you scroll down a little, you'll actually see that, a better close-up of that figure. I can totally see it now. Before I wasn't so sure, but now I really see it. So really check that out. It's kind of cool. And this was literally, I think it was days when she got back from Gettysburg. So she said this guy followed her back, and I guess she told him to go back. And I don't think he hung around too long, but it's definitely a cool picture. So, and again, Jackie takes pictures like I do. She takes pictures for her videos. She takes pictures kind of to document where she goes. And again, she captures stuff too. That's how we do it. We don't get very many very often, and I think that's good. That means, we don't think everything's an apparition or a ghost. If you're doing it for years, and I have three pictures in, 7 years? To me, that's a pretty good ratio. And I can argue with people about them. I mean, I this is what I think they are. Other people may look at it and go, I don't really see that in that picture. I think you're matrixing, which means you're looking at patterns maybe and think you're seeing a figure or a ghost or an apparition, but it's really just a pattern of pixels or maybe shadows and light and objects casting shadows. You're just looking for something. That's called matrixing in a picture when you're looking at it. And some people do that with orbs, like, oh my God, look at these orbs, they're amazing. And I look where they're at, like at the Washoe Club. Oh, look, someone walked down the hall, it's full of dust. The whole town is dust, dust, dust. It's a old West town, Gold Rush town. There's lots of dust. There's old boardwalks, dirt everywhere. So the mountains, you're in the desert, so you're going to have lots of dust. And I think most orb pictures are dust or insects.
You have to rule those out first, too. Always rule out what the photo could be.
Absolutely, because you never know what it's going to be. Sometimes I think the ones that travel in a direction and turn, take it to sharp left or right, I think those are real ones.
Type it in.
Yeah, we'll open the phones right after 9.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm not sure what Verna's telling me. Who's trying to contact us?
There's somebody who wants to call in, and they need the number. So
sure. The number we're gonna have the phones open after our break at close to 9 o'clock. Then we're gonna have a music break and come back. So just after 9, we're gonna open up the phone lines. So during the music break, we'll open up the phone. So if you get through, you're gonna be on hold, and you're gonna probably hear the music. So just stay on hold if you do get through. But that number is 628-444-3202. Again, 628-444-3202. So as soon as you go into our music break, you can start calling. And then if you get through, like I said, you'll be on hold, but you'll hear the music. That means you're on hold, you're ready to go. And as soon as the music's over, we'll go right back to you, and you'll be live on the air with us. So yeah, with our subject matter with the photographs, I have friends who are really into that. Sharon Leong, who called last week, she is a spirit photographer. She knows her stuff. She'll tell you to maybe always take photographs in threes if you're looking to take spirit photographs, because you have a before, a middle, and an after picture. You have comparison shots of the same angle, the same shot. So therefore, you have control shots. So if something was there, but it isn't in the next picture or wasn't in the one before that, you really have a good side-by-side comparison that it's something unusual.
And even though we mentioned that most of these great photos happen just by accident, if you really actually want to document, we think it's a great thing to try to document and try to capture images in these places. I think it would be great to be able to just work on it and talk to other people who are doing this and find out how they get their best images and practice at it. It's actually fun too. It
is. I mean, it can be. It's kind of rough because if you've taken pictures, say you went on an investigation for a week and you came home and you took 400 pictures or 500 pictures and you get home and you get nothing. That's common. That's, don't let it deter you. That's pretty much a good dose of what real ghost hunting is like. It's not like TV. You can take all photographs for months and never get anything unusual. TV shows, when they get evidence, they usually are shooting for 2 or 3 days, and they gather their evidence together, and it looks like in 42 minutes they have the world's worth of evidence. So television paranormal investigation and real-life investigation are completely different things in reality. Okay, we have a station break, and then followed by our music break coming up in just about a minute. Like I said, we're going to take some calls right after the music break, and I'm going to give you that number again because we're going to turn the phones on here in just a second. And that number is 628-444-3202. And if you have a photograph, we want to post it up on our Facebook page, Ecto Portal, or if you just want to talk about maybe a family photograph or something you captured on video that you just want to talk about, we would definitely want to hear from you and see what you have to share, because if you're an investigator or just maybe you weren't, maybe you just shot some video and you captured something by accident, we definitely would like to hear about that. So sit back and get ready. It's almost time for a break here, and after the break we will be right back.
And we look forward to hearing back from you.
And now we're waiting for someone to call, but we're going to continue, I guess, talking about our topic.
I also wanted to make a special mention, since we're closely associated with the paranormal community. I was told that somebody from who is closely associated also with the paranormal community recently passed away. His name is John Cullen. He's from the Stanley Hotel. He was the former owner of the Stanley Hotel.
Oh.
I think that's his name. But anyway, the Stanley Hotel has been the subject of a lot of investigations, and I was told that the owner recently passed away, so we just wanted to make a special mention, just a little moment of silence there and a special mention for him.
Paranormal peeps.
Paranormal, yeah. So just want to say that, he did some great, Stanley Hotel is definitely a subject where there's been some great EVPs and photos captured. And
the source of Stephen King's book, The Shining, was written there.
Yeah, and I believe that this local paranormal team that Anthony and I investigate with, they did a conference there some time back before either of us was, and my sister was involved with them. So just want to mention his name and honor him since I heard he recently passed. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good. The Stanley, of course. Actually, the actual, I know the Stanley Kubrick movie wasn't shot there, but they got design ideas from there. But I noticed the miniseries for The Shining was shot at the Stanley Hotel. So
I'd love to visit it someday.
Absolutely. Me as well. I'm surprised I haven't yet, but it's on my list along with the Myrtles Plantation. So someday I will. All right, let's go back to our topic here. We're waiting for someone to give us a call.
Yeah, we're
Hopefully.
waiting to take your calls, so hopefully we'll hear from somebody.
Yeah, if someone wants to give us a call, the number is 628-444-3202. And we'll talk about maybe photographs you have, maybe some video you capture of an apparition or ghost. That's our topic tonight, is ghosts caught on film. And that includes video, film, photographs, anything visual that you think is an apparition. We get a lot of orb pictures in the world. I'm not so sold myself on orbs. I'm not a big orb person. There are people who swear by orbs. I'm just not really one of those people. And I know Jackie has a great picture that we posted. Jackie, if you could give us a call, maybe. She said maybe she would call. And maybe describe that scenario when she actually took that photograph in her backyard.
I do tend to see orbs in a lot of pictures, and also in a lot of cameras, and a lot of live cameras. They have orbs. I'm not, and they're interesting, but I've never quite understood where they come from or why they're there. I know that there's a lot of spirit energy, and it manifests in different ways, which is why, which is the name of our show also, ectoportal, after ectoplasma. But I want to, if there's somebody who knows a little bit more about orbs and why they show up in photos, why they show up on camera, we're interested in hearing your views on that.
I know a lot of people think if it's an orb that has unusual colors, not just a white orb, if there's unusual colors or strange color patterns in them, that they're more apt to be a real orb than just a white orb. And a white orb could be a reflection. It could be from your camera lens. A lot of cell phones actually have a reflection issue with the actual camera itself. It's not the best in the world, and there's an actual reflective thing in it that leaves these streaks of light in a lot of photographs. So I always tell people, if you take your cell phone and you take lots of apparition pictures, I want you to then pick up that digital camera over there that's not a phone and recreate the same thing. And if you can't recreate that same phenomena of white streaks, I'm a little inclined to believe that those aren't real, that that's just an anomaly of the phone or whatever other device. Because if you can't recreate it on every device, to me that's not a phenomenon. That's my opinion.
And oftentimes, every time I've seen pictures of orbs, or I've seen orbs moving on film, they don't always come the same way. Sometimes they just seem to be coming straight down, or they're just floating, and I've even seen orbs like moving in a pattern, and I'm thinking, and I'm very curious about that, and not sure why. Well, I'm not sure why. I know that there's all kinds of tricks photography can play on you with light and shadow, but it's it's very easy to fake something, or very easy to rule out what could be part of the room, what could be part of the house, or part of where you are. So, and that's another problem. Speaking of trickery, with so many software programs that allow you to manipulate photographs nowadays, so many fake ghost photos are just hitting the web like crazy. So now not only do you have to decide, is this real? You have to decide, is this real, and also, is this just somebody else's joke, prank, forgery picture? They did it just for shits and giggles. So that makes it an extra hard
way to look. You know what I'm saying? Hello, is anybody online right now? Hello?
Is there somebody on the phone?
No. There is not.
There is not, huh? Let's make sure. Let's repeat that. Let's repeat that line again because I'm getting a message saying that with somebody said that the line is busy, and we know it's not.
And that number is 628-444-3202. So you want to give that another shot. I don't see anybody on the line right now, so we should be able to come through.
628-444-3202.
Yep.
And
Give us a call
it's
there.
open. I mean, as far as we see, it's open.
Do you want to try and call it?
I can try and call it.
Maybe we should have Verna try and call it online.
Yeah,
on
why
air
don't
to
I
see
try
if it
and
works.
see if it's open?
Yeah, see it.
So I'm going to call right now
If you
on my cell
suddenly hear
phone.
yourself above you, we know it
Yeah,
works.
yeah. Let me just call it right now.
Verna's going to test the phone for everybody.
I'm going to toast it. Yeah, I'm going to test it. Toast it.
Don't toast it, just test it.
Just test it. That's right. Okay, so 628.
Maybe it's a ghost that's on the phone. We just don't know it.
3202.
There's an apparition on the phone. It's not talking.
Okay, here we go.
See if
Oh, it is busy. How crazy is that? That's nuts. Now that's nuts. It's busy. Wow, that's nuts. Try that one more time?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not sure why the phone was busy there.
Okay, I'm going to try it one more
something
time.
spooky's happening with
Yeah,
the phones tonight.
Weird stuff happening in the studio. Oh, still busy. Wow.
There, now let's try. I reset it. Maybe we're okay now.
Okay, should I test it again?
Yep, test it one more
Okay.
time. I know you really
I told
love hearing
somebody
us
to
test this phone line,
Yeah, I
don't you?
told somebody to stand by. Somebody wants to call in. They just messaged me saying, I can't call in, so I'm going to try and... Okay, folks, I'm testing it for you. Let's see. It's still busy. That's nuts.
Let me take it off auto. Try one last time.
Okay.
That's so weird.
I know. That's...
Because right now it's just on regular call, and we should hear it ring, and I should be able to pick it up.
Oh, that's crazy. It's still busy.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with the phone. We'll have to let someone know. Okay, I guess we won't be taking any calls tonight.
No, not yet.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Something happens and the phone line's finally available. So not even a dial tone. That's nuts. Patience, everybody.
So now there's the dial tone.
Okay, now there is. Should I test it again?
Turn it on call. Yeah, go one more time.
Okay, I'm going to test it again.
I know this is the most exciting show ever.
Everybody-
Testing your phone lines on this week's Ecto Portal.
Oh my God, it's still busy. That's
All right,
nuts.
I think we're giving up officially.
Yeah, we're giving up. So, sorry about that, everybody. Here we are looking forward to your calls, and then all of a sudden we can't.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know why that is, but I did everything I should do technically, so I don't know what's up.
Too bad there's nobody I can call to come in here, and I can bring in here to fix that.
I know, how bizarre.
Yeah, well, everybody, thanks for your patience and listening to us.
Oh,
Whoops. It's crazy.
try it one more time.
Okay, I'm going to try this one more time.
Could be because I had it on auto and nothing else was on.
Yeah, so, gosh. Okay. Oh, it's still busy.
Okay.
Well, that's frustrating.
We tried.
Well, we have one nice caller saying, "I'll wait," and that's very nice. Thank you for that. Thanks for your patience. I'm going to let her know we are trying to fix that.
All right, I'm going to see if I can give it a call. Just because I'm going to answer it when it does. Okay, here we go. Let's give this a shot. 628-444-3202 and call.
Wow, that's so. Last week people couldn't really tune in because we were having problems with that. Now it's the phones this week.
Of course, it's something
It's always got to be
mysterious.
something, right?
Absolutely. So, well,
That's
we
okay.
tried.
We tried. So
Because I thought just leaving it on the regular, just the regular phone line. I'm going to try it with just the regular phone without.
you know what? Oh yeah. Too bad I can't have somebody. There's somebody who really wants to call and talk. Should I just have her call and put her on my speakerphone, or we can't really hear them that way?
Yeah, we can try.
Okay. I'm going to have her call. I'm going to say, call on my cell. I'm going to put you on the speakerphone. So, one moment while I go ahead and get her to call because she wants. Oh, it's ringing.
Hello, it's me. Let's put you up. See if you're up.
Am I up now? Can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
Is it ringing now?
Hear me on the phone?
You can hear me. Okay, so
Does it
all right,
work?
it works.
Okay.
So,
So I'm going to say, call. It works. Okay.
Go ahead and give us a call. I'll answer it, and you'll be on the air.
Okay.
Whew. But we don't use the box, I guess, until there's a call, and then I hit the button, and then it goes on.
Right.
How weird.
Yeah. So I just. There it is.
Hello, FCCP Radio, Ecto Portal. Who's this speaking? Okay, hold on just a sec.
Are you still with us?
I am.
All right, you are on the air.
Okay. For some reason I'm not being able to hear your podcast, but I'm very interested in your topic, and I just was wondering, do you have experience with this, or is Verna there?
Yep,
Oh,
Verna's
hi.
right here.
I'm right here.
Hi, Verna. It's Selma.
Hi, Elma. Glad
Hi,
you called
how are you?
in. So nice to hear from you.
Yeah, finally. So I missed your podcast last week, and I'm calling in now. How deep do you get into these topics that do you just speak regarding your experience, or do you just discuss other people's experiences?
Probably
Am
a
I
little,
making sense?
probably a little bit of both.
Definitely
I mean,
a little bit of both.
Sometimes we have experience in the topic. Sometimes we just bring up the topic just because other people are interested in it and may be exploring it, and we may know someone who's into it. So we thought, hey, let's explore it.
Okay.
So like
all
photographs, I've just captured a few myself, and I have a few friends that have done that as well. So it's just seemed and everyone's interested in ghost photographs. They're always going to be
Right,
curious. So it seemed like
Right.
a good broad topic.
right. Okay. And the photographs that you have, are these the ones you've actually taken, or are there some that you just come across?
A little of both. On our Facebook page, I posted two of mine. They're actually
Right.
together. One's the Alcatraz and one's the Washoe Club. Those are
Okay.
my own personal ones. My
Okay.
friend Jackie posted hers, and then a lot of the other ones are just older ones that we've collected off the web that seem a little more legitimate. Because there's a lot of fakes out there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now, what I was mostly curious about is the photos that you took. When you took the photos, were you prepared? Were you anticipating something was going to happen, or did you just get this feeling that told you take a picture?
On Alcatraz, I was just documenting my trip, and I like to take pictures of odd angles, strange objects, shapes, just as a photographer's eye, just in general. So I just
Okay.
snapped that one, just to snap it to see how unusual it would be to see a picture inside of a mirror
Right.
as a
right.
picture, and then I just grabbed that one. I didn't see it when I took it, It wasn't until, again, like I got home.
Okay.
And same thing with the Washoe Club. That was just taking photographs to document our trip, our investigation. Then I just turned, last one out of the building, looked up the stairs, took a shot, and then just left. And I didn't look at that for months. Months later, I didn't find it.
Right. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, because that's what I always just kind of wonder. Do you get a feeling that you need to take a picture, or do you just take a picture and then it appears?
Some people do.
I imagine everybody's experience is different.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's one of the things that I actually felt when I was first started investigating, was every time I got a feeling about something, I would go to that corner, I would go to that part of the building, and I would turn on my phone, or I would turn on my camera. Actually, more my phone than my camera. I really have not taken much spirit photography, not on purpose anyway. But when I had those feelings, and I had a feeling that this was a spot where something was seemed to be a little different than the rest of the atmosphere. That's where I got some of what I thought, what I felt to be EVPs. And I imagine it's the same with spirit photography. If I were to actually practice it, I would probably be sensitive to some areas and go there and try to capture pictures in those areas that I felt where some energy was.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's one of those things that it's so scary, and and that's not even a very good word to use. But when you see something, and then maybe later on you see it in a photograph, just you know how they say you get chills because you just get a feeling that there was something there, and now to actually see it in a photograph is almost confirmation.
That's what I feel like a lot about people's family photographs. When they'll take a picture and they'll go, wait a minute, there's grandpa, there's grandma, there's our uncle, there's the grandkids, but who's that?
Right, and there's also, I don't know if you discuss very often a time slip, where sometimes it could be that someone has crossed over and you see them in a photograph and then you see them in the street, or vice versa. You see someone in the street and then you look at a photograph that was taken like in the early 1900s and you'll say, my God, I saw that person the other day. And there's always that possibility that someone made a rare appearance in real life that came from a long time ago.
It's funny you should say that, because I actually I believe that theory, because a lot of people think, oh, it's dead people, when in fact maybe it's not. It's just, like you said, it's a quick overlay, like an onion skin from another time period, showing that person who was alive.
Right.
So they are alive and we're alive at the same time. So nobody's really dead at that moment.
Right. Well, I believe that we have so much energy that even when we do make our final destination, there's still a lot of us still here. That's why we have that deja vu feeling, like I could have sworn I did this before. I tend to have dreams of having done something or been somewhere that I've never been at before, and then sometime later I'll have a smell and it'll take me back to that dream. And there's a sense of having actually felt that I was there, and it never happened, at least not during this lifetime.
I completely agree with that. Now, do you have this smell, like when you're walking around waking hour, do you smell the smell and think, wow, and it just triggers it?
Yes.
Wow.
And I get those more now that since my mom passed away. I'll just get a scent of a certain perfume. Like when I'm walking down the street in San Francisco, and it's hard to, just pinpoint one particular smell, but I just get the feeling my mom is like with me at that moment.
See, I lean towards the theory that everyone thinks, oh, the dead people, they're all watching us. Who's to say these people haven't moved somewhere else? They know who we are. They're living their own lives, but they're able to go around us, and you are smelling her perfume somewhere. Yes,
and it's very comforting,
Absolutely.
When my mother passed away, she used to wear a certain perfume from Estee Lauder all the time. In fact, it was her signature perfume. And I was going upstairs once, and my sister was with me, and we actually smelled her perfume coming from the apartment.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. She was very attached to being at that apartment for a while when she first passed. But this was maybe 6 months after she passed. We were going inside, and she smelled So it's interesting because, you know, our mothers, we associate them with the perfume they wear. When you brought that up, I thought about mine because she was very known for that. She always left a perfume trail behind.
Right, that's how my mom was. And even like with when I smelled some food at work one day, they were setting up for an event, and it took me to a meal my mom used to make. My mom was from Mexico, and I totally
Same with mine.
tasted her. Yeah, I totally tasted my mom's. She would cook this beef with potatoes and then the rice, but I tasted it, and I was at work just walking down a hallway, and again I thought, you know, there's my mom. My mom's here. And, you know, we need these things. I finally was able to feel that my dad's at rest because he died, and it just hit me really, really hard.
Yeah.
But I had a dream that I saw him at a club, and the club was red, and he looked like he did when he was in his 40s, and I was talking to him in Spanish, and he said he just came to have a drink with some friends, and he gave me a kiss. And
Aww.
and I walked away, and I went in, I sat on this red velvet chair, and I went, oh, my God, these chairs are so uncomfortable. That next night, I went to an event in Oakland, and we went into the club. It was all red. It was all red velvet, the red velvet chairs. And I started shaking, and I told my cousins, this is the place. I go, this is the place in my dreams.
How were the chairs?
I sat on the red velvet chair, and I went, oh, my God, I go, this chair's so uncomfortable. And
Wow.
at that moment, that told me that my dad was fine, that he's fine, he's happy. And this is like one of the few times I've been able to talk about him without crying, because I finally believe he was telling me that he's okay. He's at his happiest.
That's very cool.
And
What a great way to convey that too.
Yeah, and
It is,
thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm sure you have other callers, and Verna, I could talk to you for hours and hours, but it was a pleasure speaking to you both.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
pleasure speaking with you. I'm
Definitely
so
give
glad
us-
you called.
Give us a call
Yeah.
back sometime. Absolutely.
I truly will. Thank you so very much. I appreciate all you're doing.
Thank you. Have
Thank
a great
you.
night.
Bye, Ella.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, that was very cool.
That was.
I love listening to people's stories, and sometimes we'll be talking about one topic and it'll evolve into another, but it's all good. It's all part of it.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, photographs, like relatives, I think they pop in the same kind of thing when people take photographs, and maybe their relatives, everyone living doesn't know who they are, but maybe it's somebody who knows somebody in the family, or, you know, a friend of the family who just keeps an eye on everybody. You never know.
When she mentioned her mother's cooking, I was like, oh my God, that sounds so good. She should capture the recipe and make it and bring it over here.
Absolutely. We could go for that.
Yeah, we could. Definitely. You could
Some
tell me.
phantom food.
You could tell me and Anthony a little hungry on the hungry side there.
All right, everybody. If anyone else wants to give us a call, 628-444-3202. 628-444-3202. We're talking about ghosts caught on film or photographs or videotape. Whatever you want. If you've captured something, we'd like to hear about it. A photograph that you took that you found something unusual in. If you want to post it on our Facebook page, Ecto Portal. I think we're going to go to a quick music break, and we'll come right back. And then we'd love it if you come and share with us one of your stories or give us a phone call. We'd love to hear from you, right?
Yep, we'd love to hear from you. So please, if you can, try that. The line is open now.
Yep.
No more busy line.
Check us out. All right, if someone wants to give us a call here, that's 628-444-3202. Again, 628-444-3202.
Yep, waiting for your calls. And just wanted to say that you can be a skeptic if you call as well. We don't want just people calling because they absolutely believe in something. We want people to challenge us as well if they debate or they have a question, because I feel that, I was just talking with Anthony about this, somebody who believes in something too much, that they believe in everything they see, to me is, there's a call.
Here's our call. Hold on just a sec. FCCP Radio, Ecto Portal. Who am I speaking with today? Awesome, Frank. Hold on just a sec. Hey, Frank, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
How's it going?
Brian, hi.
Good. Hi.
So glad you
Doing good.
called.
Yeah. How you guys doing?
Not too bad.
Yeah,
Right on.
we're talking about ghost photography, and we're talking about the visual side of capturing ghosts, either on film or in pictures, and wherever you see the visual and you capture it. That's what we're talking about, and it can be either on purpose or it can be by accident, a family photo.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Right on.
yeah. Have you ever experienced anything like that?
Not with photography, but I live here in Boise, Idaho, and I used to work at the Egyptian Theater, which is a movie palace built in the 20s. And they had a projectionist die in the balcony section from a heart attack, I think in the 50s. And since then, the Egyptian has been plagued with several incidents of strange activity going on.
Interesting.
We've had reports of orbs in the projection booth. The way the Egyptians set up, the alarm system has different zones, including the projection booth has its own zone. And a lot of times that would be triggered in the middle of the night without the other zones being triggered. And there's no way to get into the projection booth without going through one of the other zones. But that's been documented by the Boise Police Department several times.
Wow.
And they had ghost hunters in there twice, do 2 full film episodes in there. I know when I worked there as the technical director, I used to start my morning off every morning by saying, "Good morning, Joe," so we wouldn't have any problems. We found out that the projectionist that had died in the balcony was named Joseph. So that became a ritual for me every morning to say, "Good morning, Joe," and then as I locked up at night and left the theater, I would say, "Good night, Joe."
That's cool.
Really, that's very
Courteous.
cool. Actually, very courteous, very respectful.
Yeah. I feel that, I never felt like it was a bad spirit. I just felt like he maybe was curious about what was going on and just wanted to be remembered.
Definitely. Have you had any other experiences that you feel you can tell
No.
that you think might be of interest to the show? Not necessarily ghost photography or
Just
visuals, but just
experiences even.
experience in general with
Oh,
the
yeah.
paranormal.
I grew up in the east coast of Florida, just north of St. Augustine, and in college, me and my buddies would spend the night on the beach, a lot of nights down there. And there was one night where we had ocean fog come in rather rapidly and unexpectedly, and around our bonfire, a smoke column took the form of a torso. And it was beginning to spin around to where I could see a face, and at that moment, a friend of mine on the other side looked at me and said, "Brian, you look like you see a ghost." And as soon as those words came out of his mouth, the wind came up and just dissipated the fog and the smoke also. And we were about a couple of miles north of a massacre site that had happened between French Huguenots and the Spanish that had established St. Augustine. And the bodies in the graves have never been found to this day. The University of Florida still every summer goes out and tries to find this burial location, because we're talking about 200 to 300 French soldiers that were massacred on the beach by the Spanish.
Wow,
Wow.
wow, that would be
Activity
yeah, that would be a
galore.
lot of intense activity in that part. Wow.
Most definitely, because it was a religious war. The French Huguenots being Protestants and the Catholics, and the Spanish being Catholics, of course. And that was the reason for the massacre, was the French were given a chance to renounce being Protestants and accept being Catholics and their lives spared, and they refused.
Wow, all this pointless, all these wars and all this conflict that just, I mean, when you go to these places, I mean, you can feel the pockets of energy and the pockets of, you can still feel the conflict, you can feel the anger.
Heaviness. There's a lot of heaviness too.
A lot of heaviness, and you can still feel the anger in in the air in a lot of these places too.
Yeah, I also know from working with National Park Service, a lot of the guys I used to work with went to Gettysburg every year. And Gettysburg is still considered one of the most haunted places in the United States. And the Park Service has photos of units on the field of battle, in battlefield formations, but there are no reenactor units scheduled for that day. There was no reenactor units on the field that day. And people would come into their visitor center all the time and go, that was a great battlefield demonstration you did out there at the Devil's Den. And the park ranger sort of like, we didn't do a battle demonstration today kind of deal. So I've talked to a lot of park rangers about that also.
Wow.
Didn't you say something earlier, Anthony, about when you were in Jack, you were visiting Gettysburg, you experienced something kind of similar to that?
We did. We were in the Farnsworth House, which was, I guess, down the road from the Jenny Wade House, which is where an assassin sniper killed her. It was in the main street through the town. But, yeah, we were all over the battlefields and walked through, Devil's Den. And just feeling it, like when it's dusk out, the sun's going down, you can really feel it a little bit. Yeah, you just walk onto the battlefields in general, and you can just feel all the activity that occurred, all the energy that's still there. I mean, there's a lot of places in Gettysburg that are haunted. A lot of schoolhouses, old houses turned hospitals, and that kind of thing.
There's the most famous would probably be the college there in Gettysburg itself that was used as a field hospital by the South, starting from the second day and the third day. And they still have reports of students that take the elevator down to the basement, and when the doors open, they're greeted with a hospital scene straight out of the Civil War. That
can you imagine seeing
manifest.
that?
Wow, I can imagine that.
That's like the last thing on your mind. The doors open, and that's what you see.
Yeah, you see a bunch of wounded people and a bunch of people attending them. That's the other stories that I've heard out of Gettysburg.
Yeah, we got some interesting evidence out there, audio EVP-wise. But, yeah, I mean, I have Sharon Leong, a friend of ours, got some great photographs in Gettysburg in the early mornings on the battlefield and of soldier. Yeah. So you never know.
We had a lot of problems. Well, even like the radio station that I'm on here in Boise, I'm on a community radio station in Boise. The location of our station is in the basement of an office building, and at one time it was a gambling casino and a brothel down there.
Wow.
And there was a fire, and 2 prostitutes were found dead down in the basement about where our station library is. And about 5 years ago, when we were setting up our FM transmitter, had finally gone FM and got it up, we started getting a lot of weird noises that none of our engineers could explain. And we've had a few DJs report seeing shadow figures down in the station also with that.
Interesting. So whatever's there is still hanging around.
Yeah, most definitely. There was one night that one of my co-hosts, we were getting ready to leave after our show, and I was walking behind him, and he just stopped. And I walked into him, and I'm like, what's wrong? And he's like, don't you see this person in front of me? And I'm like, no. But he claimed there was a shadow figure like 2 feet in front of them, blocking him from getting to the door.
How tall was it? Was it pretty tall?
About around 5.5 feet, he said.
Oops, still there?
Still there,
I'm
Brian?
still here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, he said the shadow figure was about 5.5 feet tall.
Wow, that's But how tall did he say it was again?
About 5 feet, 5.5 feet tall.
Oh, okay.
Oh, 5 feet. Oh, that's not. Yeah,
About
that's not
average
that
height.
tall.
Yeah, about average height.
About average height. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw one that was I swear it was about 7 feet tall. Didn't scare me and intrigued me, but then it was gone too fast.
Yeah, I mean, every experience I've personally had, and whether it was at the Egyptian or on that beach that night, I've never really felt fear. It's always been more curiosity.
Yeah, it always amazes me when people get terrified by that. It's like, well, nothing's really happening to you physically,
Right.
or it's just some kind of anomaly that you're looking at. So yeah, I'm always curious.
Yeah, people always
Well, I
ask
know
me, they
from,
say,
like,
aren't you
talking to
scared? And I said, well, it happened so fast, I didn't have time to be scared. I mean, it looked just normal when it happened. And then you thought about later and you think, oh, I think I just experienced something that was not part of your normal scene. But you really don't have time to be scared. It just happens. Yeah.
Yep, that's definitely.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing those.
Yeah,
Hey, not a
I'm used to
problem.
mostly hearing you talk about music. Brian's definitely a music expert, and we've spoken with him regarding music and the San Francisco punk scene. And but it's great to share your paranormal experiences as well.
Yeah, definitely. It was good to talk to both of you.
And is your show available on the internet?
Yes, it is.
Go
I
ahead and
have
give that a
mix-
plug.
Yeah,
All right. My show's named The Return of the Disco Witch Hunt. It's a history of alternative music from mid-'60s to current day.
Awesome.
And I have a Mixcloud account where you can listen to it online, the archive online. Or you can also go to Radio Free America and listen on Radio Free America. Just look for the Radio Boise link and then look for Return of the Disco Witch Hunt.
Very cool.
very cool.
Awesome.
So, yeah, great.
Thanks for calling in,
Yeah.
sharing it.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. And I'll be out in San Francisco in September, so I hope to see you guys.
Excellent.
Yeah, great. Come visit the studio, Brian.
Yeah.
I will.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Very cool.
Yeah.
More Gettysburg stories. I love that.
Yeah, that's seems like anybody who's ever visited there seems to come back with something. I don't think you can. It's like one of those places where you're going to spot or hear something. I always hope that. I mean, it's strange that I hope for that, but when I visit places that I know have a lot of history, I'm always hoping that something may come my way that's out of your normal seeing or hearing, and sometimes it does, oftentimes it doesn't.
Right.
I mean, so that's you can't expect those things; they just happen.
All right. We're winding down here. We're going to end in about 2.5 minutes. So thank you for those that gave us a call tonight. We appreciate that. And if you have any photographs you want to share or any video clips you might have taken that you want us to look at or you want to maybe discuss, even on a future show, if you want to give us a call later after we've taken a look.
Yeah, keep
go ahead
sharing
and
them.
Post them on our Facebook page, Ecto Portal, and we'll definitely take a look and see what's there.
And also for the subject from last week, mediums and sensitives, share us your stories on some of your mediumship, anything to do with mediumship or being a sensitive that's happened with you, or that you've experienced. We'd love to hear that too. So
And what's coming up next week?
next week we're going to be talking about the ethics of ghost hunting.
Ooh, what does that entail?
That entails having respect for the spirits and the place that you are in while you do your investigations.
Very cool.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up here. And thanks for listening tonight.
Hope you've enjoyed it, and we will see you next week.
Absolutely. Until next week, you can come back out of the Ecto Portal.